back to the drawing board.
Hey legends, welcome back to Big LEZ'S League. Unfortunately, we got caught up doing the SuperCoach content with the SuperCoach experience. Obviously, the drawing board is out now with myself and the SuperCoach experience. We forgot to add the fantasy bit to the first part, obviously with me and the SuperCoach experience, Brendan Savage, talking about SuperCoach. We forgot to add the fantasy bit in. So going to do it now. Going to do it very quick. Going to talk about the trades that we've made going into this week for NRL Fantasy. So a little bit similar to what we've done for SuperCoach. We're going to go for the pod play we were talking about on the drawing board for SuperCoach in terms of trading out Nicho Hynes for Sam Walker. I've been waiting to trade out Rocco Berry for quite a while. I feel like this is the perfect opportunity to do that. You go in and grab Max Plath. Obviously had Rocco Berry in the reserves for the past 2 weeks. Maxi Plath getting some decent scores, good price on him as well. Leaves him with a bit of cash left over to get Nicho Hynes back potentially after Origin if that calf injury isn't as bad as what we think. Obviously gives us a chance to get some other guys in this side too, potentially in terms of halves, some more expensive halves. We might even keep Sam Walker over the next few weeks, depending on what happens there. But Sam Walker is in my team. Max Plath is in my team. The outs are Nicho Hynes and Rocco Berry. Now, last week's score, just to talk a little bit about last week, we did have a bit of a Barry Crocker. 705. Look, it isn't the worst score we've had all year. We've had some pretty bad scores this season, but 705 in a week where even our super coach struggled. I'm quite happy with it. We had some decent scores. Paddy Carrigan. We also had, looking at this side, Jacob Kiraz getting 79. KO Weeks getting the 51 score. Some decent scores in there, 42 for Zach Lomax. But we just had some guys that didn't get the best scores, like your Tom Hazelton's obviously in a struggling Sharks side getting 28. Morgan Smithy's 27. It's the lowest score he's had all year, I'm pretty sure. Hines got 17 for fantasy. I wish they were that generous in SuperCoach because he obviously only got 3 points on SuperCoach. We captained him too in that game. Who else got low scores? I mean, Kale Iro, he's lowest score of the year, 26. Hopefully that's not a downfall for him. His stats are great every week. So hoping he turns that around going into next week. Daniel Atkinson getting 32 as well. Dom Young, our breadwinner, getting 31. I mean, we had some pretty low scores. Lockie Galvin was a shining light off the bench, obviously getting 77. So we had some decent scores. There are going to be a few changes into how this rotation looks as well, obviously with the Origin period coming in. Max Plath starts with Tom Hazelton and Morgan Smithies in the middle. Jamin Salmon comes into the starting side. Didn't even talk about him for scores last week. 65, had a great game in the back row for the Dogs. Looking for him to have a similar sort of game. Going to be a bit of a different combination with him on that right-hand side. It looks like Hutcho is going to be getting that 7 jersey back. Sexton not going to be there anymore. Sexton most likely to play 6. The team list will come out, obviously, by the time this podcast is out as well, at least the video version anyway. Who else is the change? Obviously, Sam Walker comes in at 7. Our reserves at the moment our bench at the moment is Sam Hughes, Josh Kerr, Lomax, and Bostock. Our reserves merging, I should say, for fantasy is Paddy Carrigan, Amolio Lokawatu, Lockie Galvin, Carl Lawton, all not playing due to the bye. Look, it's going to be a tough week yet again. I wouldn't be surprised if we get around the 600, 700 mark again this week. Hoping we get higher. And look, I mean, we've got some guys in this side that can get some big scores. I'm looking for Sam Walker to have a big game against the Cowboys. Kiraz, maybe a big game again for him. I had him in my heart as a Origin Smoky for the wing there. His stats had been great all year. Think he was going to be a Smoky. KO Weeks got 51 on the weekend last week. I think that he can get a better score or, a similar score going into this weekend. Looking for Dom Young to have a better score. Kale Iro, these sort of guys. Looking for them to have some decent scores. Kula Kefi Fuiaki, he looks like someone we could trade over the next few weeks. Only have the 13 trades left, so really getting into the dire stages here. Something that I do with fantasy is I do tend to waste a few trades. So let's hope we save a few of those going into the next few weeks. But there you go. That's my fantasy coverage for round 13. Make sure to like and subscribe, obviously, to the YouTube. Wasn't able to get into the studio, as you can see. Obviously, a few dramas on my end. Obviously, trying to get in with the producer as well. He's got a bunch of other clients, a lot of dramas in that regard. So Hoping to get back into the studio next week. I'm going to work out if I can set up the cameras and do all that sort of stuff by myself, which is going to be fun. But hopefully back in the studio next week for the drawing board. Won't have a guest on next week. We're going to be doing it just solo from now on, unless an opportunity comes up. We can get a co-host on the show, but realistically, it's going to be running solo for the drawing board over the next few weeks, depending on what happens with the NRL show as well. Obviously, if you haven't heard the news, haven't been listening to the podcast recently, not going to be on the NRL show at the moment. Could be a week, could be 2 weeks, could be longer. It depends what direction they want to go in. They're going to try and act like levels at the moment with the 2 footy players on their own. So just going to let them do that and see how that works for them. Obviously, if it does work out for them, they don't want to continue with me in the future. Totally fine. I'm still going to do the racing show as long as that lasts as well. But then obviously, if an opportunity comes up for myself to start my own thing potentially, we might be doing that as well. Just keeping straight up honest with you guys as to how the future may look for Big LEZ'S League in terms of the YouTube space. But excited for that journey as well. Excited for whatever happens, whether I do get kicked off that show. Well, not kicked off, but, let go because they want to go in a new direction. It's a great opportunity for me to start my own thing. I mean, I know my Instagram might look quite new to you guys. Obviously got hacked quite a while ago. We've had to start again in the past year, which has been really annoying. Obviously, my old Instagram got hacked and then got deleted by the hacker as well. So literally had to start from scratch. Thank goodness we're going okay at the moment. 700 followers thereabouts on Instagram. So make sure you go ahead and follow that if you haven't already. But yeah, look, I mean, just trying to start again here. We have been around for a while. We've been around for 3 years, doing this for 3 years, nearly podcasting. So, looking to sort of grow, start that own show, take the leap of faith. Obviously got the access to the studio and stuff like that. So keen for that journey as well. Not to ramble on about myself in the future, but that gives you a little bit of a glimpse as to what the future for Big LEZ'S League might look like. That was the drawing board for your fantasy. Again, sorry, I couldn't put it all in the one video. We did forget to edit it on. The YouTube was already uploaded for the SuperCoach. Didn't want to go back and redo it. I don't have enough time on my hands, unfortunately. But there you go. That is the drawing board for fantasy. Like, subscribe, follow the Instagram, TikTok, whatever you like. Obviously, subscribe to the Spotify, Apple Podcast. We're on all of those streaming platforms as well. See you guys in the next one.
Back to the drawing board.